Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode. When we set up self-managed super fund or when we have a self-managed super fund, it's mostly husband and wife or two partners together in self-managed super fund. And the thing that we never discuss is what happens if there is any separation or divorce, and what happens when there are some family issues. To cover this topic with family law and SMSF, we are joined today by Patricia from Galea Faustin Solicitors. Welcome, Patricia.
Thank you so much, Bimo, for having me during your session today, and I can't wait to spend this session with you and your audience today to inform them about family law and the intersection with SMSF.
Yeah, sure. So let's start with the more obvious question. When someone is thinking to set up an SMSF together, what should they consider?
Well, it's such a good point, Bimo. So setting up an SMSF together means that you're entering into a financial agreement together. So then what you need to consider, what you need to understand is that you will usually both be the trustees of the fund. And you will both have legal duties to act in the best interest of the fund. And if you are exiting an SMSF, it's not, of course, always black and white.
Yes, right. Yeah, and because as we know, the SMSF is a legal structure, I would say, or legal entity, and it has its corporate trustee, it has its directors, so we need to give whole thought on where everyone is sitting and what will happen if there is any issues in future. So, Patricia, in most cases, family law becomes relevant just in divorce, or there are other situations as well when family law comes and SMSF comes together?
So, of course, when you are setting up an SMSF, you also need to have appropriate beneficiaries annexed to your SMSF. So then this forms part of the family law umbrella where you appoint the right beneficiaries under the SMSF. And normally, if it's a husband and wife, they are appointing each other to be beneficiaries under the SMSF. So SMSF is not only applicable during a breakdown of a relationship. It's also, family law is applicable when you're setting it up, because you want to make sure that you have the appropriate beneficiaries. Exactly. In your fund.
That's right. So you are exactly right. Like, it's not just the separation or the divorce. It also, if one person pass away, what's going to happen? That's the family laws come in place there as well.
Absolutely.
And especially with the blended families and all that here. So if you like more information on binding that nominations or how these things works, please check our episode on binding that nominations and where we explain more into how binding that nomination and SMSF works whenever there is any family issue. We talk about separation and we talk about marriages. What about de facto relationship?
So de facto relationships are people that are unmarried, but they are living together as a couple. So they have the same rights as people that are married under the Family Law Act. So whatever rules apply for an SMSF for a married couple, the same will apply for a couple that is unmarried, not legally married.
And does that same rules actually apply to the same-sex couples as well in the super space?
Absolutely, because as we know, Australia is not only multicultural, and we also embrace people of the same-sex relationship or marriage. And the same rules apply to all individuals, either they are married, whether they are gay or lesbian, that the same rules apply.
In a separation or divorce, if an SMSF treated same as any other super fund, or there are any separate rules because it's an SMSF now?
So for example, let's say there is a separation. There is a separation, and people have decided that they want to wind up their SMSF. So they will need a court order to do that, or a binding financial agreement where the SMSF trustee is approving the terms for the SMSF to be dissolved.
Okay.
But absolutely, a legal document is required when an SMSF has to be wound up.
Okay, sure. So just to say that we are the accountants. So we've got a couple and they are going through the separations now. Because they both are the trustees or the director of the trustee companies and the members, are there any complications there?
Absolutely. Look, when you enter into a financial structure together, you have the expectation that you enter in this structure to make it profitable. So then you both need to be on the same page. But when there is a marriage breakdown or relationship breakdown, people can't see eye to eye, unfortunately.
Yes.
They have different ideas, different directions that they want to take. So then it's recommendable and advisable that if there is a marriage breakdown, that the SMSF is split. Then one person opens another fund or to put the fund to put the fund exactly.
Fund. Yeah. Now, just I had this case where actually the two members, husband and wife, they had an SMSF and actually have a commercial property in that one. Separation comes, but it was more of mutual separation. In that case, if they agree, can they still be in the same SMSF?
Absolutely. If they think that they can co-function, they can make decisions for the benefit of the fund together, absolutely they can still remain in the fund. But these cases are very rare.
It's very rare, that's right.
Rare.
Yes, very rare.
As a family lawyer, I just see people bickering about the smallest things, and then it's better to advise them, look, one of the funds, you go and you each have your separate funds.
Which is always advisable as well, just to not to create issues, because when there's a separation and the new couples or partners start coming in, it becomes complicated.
Yes.
If you have an SMSF and you have the husband and wife there, but you also have the kids as the member as well, and they as another member, a dispute happens. So can kids actually take the parents' super? Like how the...
All right. So, let's say, for example, there is a husband, wife, and any child, a child that is also investing through this super fund. And there needs to be a split of the funds. So how the court is going to analyze this is what is just and equitable in the circumstances that are presented to the court to go about with those funds, to move forward with those funds. So the child is not entitled to their parents' super fund. So then the court will remove the child's share from the pool, and the court is going to only analyze what is the personal contributions from the wife and the husband. And removing the child from the equation. Yes.
And that's where, like, when a lot of people ask us the question, we are putting the money together, it's the same bank account, how we know which's mine and what's other person's? And we always tell them, look, that's as an accountant our job. So yes, we do cent by cent calculation, how much it belongs to one partner, how much to the next other partner, and if there's any child there, how much actually belongs to the kid as well. So that we know. I heard somewhere that the super is a property. So we use that word, and then this is for us, the property is the property. Can you just elaborate on that one when we say super is the property in terms of separation or divorce?
Absolutely. See, when there is an assessment for separation, there is what we need to establish what is in the inventory of the matrimonial pool of assets and liabilities. And superannuation forms part of what has been accumulated during the relationship. So this is an item that is splittable between the parties, and definitely considered as a key factor in the balance sheet when people separate.
So that's why it is called a property. Even though it's not. Now, one question, very interesting question someone asked me actually 2 days ago, and saying that if there is a divorce, or separation, and one person super actually court ordered to go one person super to the other person, it still goes in the super environment, isn't it? That person can't cash it out.
Can't cash in the money. And I do get this question all the time. So, okay, well, when I get his super transferred to me, am I getting this in cash? No, you're not.
Yeah.
You are not getting this in cash. It's either secluded in a fund of your choice or secluded in another SMSF that you are deciding to build.
It's the same rules apply. It is going to stay in the SMSF until you met condition of release, which is you retire. Yes. So it's just from going from one person to the other person's retirement fund, we would say.
Exactly. For splitting order.
Yes. Now, we talk about the separation and then going. Now, if you talk about the properties which are very common in the SMSF, so when actually there's a separation, is there a requirement of the valuation of the assets at that point in time?
Absolutely, because you need to know what forms part of the SMSF.
Okay.
What is the splittable value of the SMSF? So if you have commercial properties, you have vintage cars or whatsoever that you have acquired through the SMSF, it needs to be valued. There needs to be evaluation so that there is an appropriate and just and equitable splittable share between the parties.
Yes. So I think it's the same rules, like because we have to value each and every asset at 30th of June. Whenever member is rolling out, we need to evaluate or converting to pension. So I think separation is another event when actually you have to value all the assets.
Exactly.
And that's just a market value, isn't it?
Absolutely, market value, and of course you have professionals that do that
valuation. Yes. You can't just say, okay, I
assume that this commercial property is worth 10 million. No, you can't. You need to get a proper valuation.
Yeah, sure. So, what people need to consider when they are actually not at the separation, but when they're setting up the SMSF, what are the points or what are the things that they need to think about?
Absolutely. So I would definitely recommend that if you enter into an SMSF structure as a couple, that you also consider having a binding financial agreement in place so that this document is going to govern as to how your asset is going to be split. And you can also include how your SMSF is going to be split in the event that this is what you want to achieve is placed in that binding financial agreement. Then it is important, as always, as a family lawyer, I also advise people that they need to have their estate planning in place to mirror and factor in how the structure of the SMSF is.
So, which is very important because to do that one, we always think of, okay, these are the things like when person pass away, when there's separation, we don't want to think about that, but these things are very important because it's gonna affect your and your loved one's life financially if the decisions are not made right from start.
Good planning saves you a lot of money. So that's an important tip that I want to give to our audience today.
Yes. And as we always say, it's the right advice at right time. If the advice is not at right time, it's not as usable as it should be.
It's not useful at all.
That's right. Absolutely. Exactly. So any key takeaways you would like to let our audience know when they are setting up an SMSF or they already have one from the family law perspective?
Absolutely. So, SMSF and family law just don't intersect at divorce. SMSF becomes relevant if, of course, you have formed a fund prior to a relationship, during a relationship, or even after a failed relationship. So there are key aspects to consider at each stage. So it's important that, when your circumstances change, that you consult legal advisors, expert legal advisors like that, how your SMSF needs to change with your lifestyle. And then, of course, SMSF is relevant at death, in blended families, or during a de facto relationship.
Yeah. So it's very important to actually work with the professionals when you are setting up an SMSF. It's not just I go online, I click on the thing and I just got my deed ready. There are a lot of different things that you need to consider. So if you are coming from a blended family, or you have something which you want to have in place first, please talk to a family lawyer before you set up your SMSF, so that all the things are in place as per your wish. If you like to discuss this in more details and want to talk to Patricia, all her details are in the description below. Please feel free to contact her for any matter relating to the family law. And if you need any help with SMSF, please contact us. Thanks, Patricia. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you,
hopefully our audience got really good information from this session.
I hope so too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bimo.
Thanks.